Hello everyone, in this video we're going to bring you another deal of the week. This is a property on Saratoga Street. This is in a great area in St. Louis, one of our recent deal we put together. It's pretty fantastic.
Especially for the tenant buyer. This is an example of how a lease to own, we look at our lease to own deals as partnerships with us and the tenant buyer. This is an example of a big win for the tenant buyer because of the school district it's in.
Yeah. All right, so this is a 3-bed, 1-bath house, 1.5-story, as you can see here from the pictures, 1,200 square feet on a 0.23 acre lot. This side lot over here on the next slide you'll see. It's kind of a double lot for the neighborhood, which is a nice feature. Gleaming hardwood floors here, freshly polished when we bought it. You know, I'm not necessarily a fan of that paint color, but it'll work for most people. Here's that side lot I mentioned. Nothing much to see here. And the reason we don't have better pictures on this one, folks, is we sold this property to a lease option tenant buyer before we could even get any marketing out there. We bought this property and had the lease
Did we
signed.
sell it before we closed?
We had money in hand, I believe, the day of or the day after we bought it, and the actual lease option signed within 7 days of when we bought it. I looked it up before we started filming here, and we didn't even get a chance to have professional pictures taken. That's how desirable this deal was for our tenant buyer. We found this one on a multiple listing service. This was a private seller who had bought this property actually in the crash a few years ago. This guy bought it for, I want to say, $20,000 or $25,000. So he had a great deal on it. He spent a good amount of money renovating it, and obviously, you know, is exiting out of it a few years later, which is fine with us. As you'll see, the cash flow numbers still make great sense for us. This property, for folks that are familiar with St. Louis, is located in Kirkwood, Meacham Park area, which is, Jimmy, you've got kids. You're a little bit more follower of the school districts and everything like that.
Yeah, we're in the Kirkwood School District, and from what they tell us, from my property taxes are paying for some of the best schooling in St. Louis.
Yeah, so great school district, and that was really the big kicker for our tenant buyer. Had several young kids, and wanted to get them into a great school district that they probably otherwise wouldn't have been able to get into. And that's why this turned out to be such a great deal for us. Here's a few comps for the area. Meacham Park's a little bit hard to comp out. Not as many sales in there, and it's a little bit of a different pocket. But you know, here's some ones in the area. And for us, you know, comps is kind of a secondary concern. We're cash flow investors, so for us, it's all about you know, what everything's going to end up after we pay our expenses and how much we're going to net on a monthly basis. It's nice to buy with equity day one, but again, it's more of a secondary concern. So the low comp on our MLS search was 111,000. That's 56% loan to value. So a decent amount of equity when we bought the property.
Either way, the private investor is protected on this.
Completely protected, extremely protected. Like I said, we couldn't even get this property up on our site before it was sold. And we ended up getting a $6,000 non-refundable option deposit for an investment of $63,000. So that's a 10% deposit on what we paid on the property. That's a very healthy amount of money down from our tenant buyer. A lot of skin in the game. We don't ever have to worry about this guy paying his rent on time. He gave us $6,000 when we handed him the keys.
This was actually our 100th deal too.
Oh,
we had
this
a big
one was?
celebration. We had
Oh.
balloons with his kids. It was a very touching afternoon.
Yeah, our 100th lease option deal. Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
They even took the sign home. They were so excited about
Yeah,
it.
and the balloons. And the balloons. All right, $1,135 per month rent. Great area, high rental demand. We purchased
Great
this.
schools.
Yeah, great schools. We purchased one on.
So let's put ourselves in this guy's shoes right now. He could be a renter, and if he rents this house, he has no guarantee that he can keep his kids in these schools for a long time. Lease to own is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
He gets himself in the house. He's in our credit repair program. He's going to own this house in about 9 months. It'll be his house, and those kids will go to high school in the Kirkwood school districts.
Yeah, he's got an option. Typically, we sign 2-year options with our tenant buyers, so they know that they've got it locked in. They're not worried about, you know, what's going to happen in a year. Are they going to get booted? Is the house going to be sold from out from under them? You know, is it going to be sold to another investor? So they really are.
When he buys this from us, it will still appreciate because it is still Kirkwood. It is still Kirkwood schools.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great area, solid area in St. Louis, very desirable. As we mentioned earlier, we purchased this property on June 10th, and the lease option was signed on June 17th. We had our down payment even sooner than that. 1 week on market, pretty great. Okay, so our favorite slide, cash flow is king. That's the name of the game here, folks, with what we're doing. We have an income of $1,100 per month coming in the door, expenses of $74 per month. That's prorated taxes, $35 per month in insurance. That's average. We've got a bulk insurance policy. On this deal, we partner with a private lender. Our lender's payment is $630 per month. That's paid whether the property is occupied, whether it's vacant, whether the property eventually goes to eviction or not. But with $6,000 non-refundable option deposit, we're not really too worried about that scenario ever happening.
He loves us for this deal.
Yeah.
He gets $630 a month in just interest. We still owe him the principal of $63,000, and we are still taking home $360 a month in cash flow.
Yeah, very safe deal. It's a win-win for all parties involved. If you were to buy this house all out cash, your cash on cash return would be just over, or not just over, almost 19% after all is said and done. Not too shabby. And again, with a $6,000 non-refundable option deposit, our tenant buyer has a ton of skin in the game. He's not going anywhere. He's responsible for all repairs and maintenance. He's basically another partner in our property with us, and he gets his kids into a good school district, and he knows he can be in this property long term and has time to get himself qualified to end up buying the property.
It's a win-win-win. This is what capitalism's all about. Adam Smith is watching this YouTube video and he's smiling in his grave right now. This is what capitalism's all about.
That's right. For folks who don't know Adam Smith, check out Wealth of Nations. Great book.
You know what? And I think Mises and Rothbard are probably smiling too.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes. All our favorite Austrian economics. Okay, you want to find out more about us, go to joinoutproperties.com, text Jimmy whenever you want, joinoutproperties@gmail.com, and if you want to learn how to lease option as houses, go to autopilotassets.com. Thanks, folks. Have a good one.
And if you want to learn how to make passive income by just being an investor, just invest with us.
Yeah, hands off, just like this deal. You get paid before we get paid if you're a private lender. That's it. Later.